So, I'm going to go ahead and take the car. I'm going to go to McDonald's, and then I'm going to go see Jasmine.
Okay. So Jazz to get it together. So Jazz to get it together.
I know she's going to have to pack up before we can go to Williamsburg, or fucking I'm leaving her ass.
Are you guys going with more people than just you two?
Well, I mean, I guess whoever really that we know up here who wants to join, that'd be Jasmine.
Yeah. I swear, if I'm going to be in
Go
the
ahead
way
and get
for
my
you
good
guys'
side
stuff
there
for
it
a
is.
minute, I'm going to be out of here.
Oh, take your time. We ain't in no rush.
Take him. Just leave me one.
Why?
Oh, yeah.
Jasmine's not going to have cigarettes either. I'm going to have to fucking...
All right.
Can I have your wallet? Jasmine's going to need cigarettes.
I want to focus on some stories that you kind of touched on a little bit yesterday, and I want to start with your time in prison. You talked about how you used to mule while you were in prison, how you used to smuggle the pack in, and you were the guy who could get it in. You know, would you tell us a little bit of what that experience was like, how it came about, and, you know, talk us through, like, that story, basically.
Okay. It just happened to be I got put on a crew outside the gate, and I mean, I knew that guys were bringing in cigarettes and drugs, cell phones. I mean, it was pretty much anything that you could get in, they'd bring it in. I was working on a crew doing concrete one day with one of the guys, and I noticed one of the guys picking up a cone with cartons of cigarettes in it. Well, the boss man, the CEO, standing there, and I was like, shoot, I didn't expect anything. I jumped out and grabbed the cone and just started tossing them up to him. And he came to me after the end of the day and he was like, hey man, he's like, you know what, you didn't have to do that, man. He tossed me a pack of cigarettes. He's like, here you go. That's $100. I mean, right there, paying canteen, paying $100 on your PayPal account. I mean, that's why everything's moving on PayPal, on paying Green Dots, all that stuff. What is the other one? Western Union. It's all virtual money, pretty much. They're just swapping numbers on little pieces of paper. And well, I did that a couple of times. Drew me a pack of cigarettes. Well, he got transferred to another squad. Well, that concrete squad, I became straw boss of. That right there was open. He said, Richie, listen. He said, man, I can't be out there anymore. He said, if you take care of me when you make these runs, he said, I pretty much told the whole compound, you're looking at 2,000 guys, you know, the gangs and all that you're the guy to go to. No cigarettes come in unless they go through you, you know. So automatically off the rip, you know, you're paying 25% to the mules, you know, of the cigarettes, because they can bring in, most guys bring in 4 packs, you know, 240s is what they'll call it. But you can squeeze, dang man, a pack of cigarettes down to 4 packs of cigarettes that big. I mean, with your hand in a plastic bag, you just squeeze it and then take electrical tape and tape it up. Started, you know, doing that, and I mean, we were bringing in a day, because the bosses, that actually were really easy. Charlotte County, it wasn't some hick guys from North Florida. These guys are all city guys. You had a few black dudes from down in the hood of Fort Myers. You had some normal, everyday blue collar working guys that were from Port Charlotte, and they just didn't really pay much attention to us, man. So we could get on the bus, and everybody, I mean, it's sort of funny, man. All the white guys brought in cigarettes. Well, I went a good 6 months before I ever brought a pack in. I was like, I'm not doing it. There's just no way I have, you know, I got to stand my ground. Until the cigarettes started becoming mine, I kept giving 5 away for these guys to bring it in. So I went ahead and they use every morning for breakfast, everybody saves their butter. I said, get it how you live is what they say. I mean, even one of the head gang members for the Latin Kings, man, he was my next door neighbor. He's like, Richie, when I came in prison, he says, my first cell phone, I brought in myself. And I mean, he brought it in his ass. He says, I keep a $100 bill. He says, I keep a couple bags of Tucci, which is K2, the spice. He says, on me at all times. I sleep with it in me every single night. Because if something pops off at the compound, they can ship me anytime, being the crown of the kings. He said, I got to have some bartering stuff to get, you know, when I get to the next camp, until my brothers all take care of me, you know. So I started doing that, and eventually, you know, once I got my cell phone, which is highly illegal, but, you know, you got a cell phone, which if anybody's seeing this, cell phones in prison aren't used to try to plan escapes or nothing. It's to watch porn and contact your family on Facebook and post, you know. I mean, that's it, you know, and I could show you on my phone 5 or 6 of my friends that are in prison, and I keep in touch with them all the time. Once in a while, if they ask me, I'll go bring some cartons of cigarettes. They're $11. They bring the little brown cigarettes, the little cigar ones. That's what everybody's smoking nowadays. They don't want the regular cigarettes. $11 for a carton. They go for you got 10 packs, then $1,000 right there, man. Figuring for $11. So when I started having my people drop off cartons of cigarettes, it was $11.27. 50% of it was gone. 25% for the Latin Kings and the Zoes, and 25% for the mules. So, I get 5 packs for, my people pay $11. I'd make $500 in canteen and green dots and, the PayPal. And that's pretty much how that went in. I was also the pitcher man in VP, which had a big visitors park. Every Saturday and Sunday, I'd go down there and take pictures of the families and all that, which that way too, the guys would just go to the bathroom, slide things over to me. They never ever shook me down. I worked for the warden. I mean, I could carry a bazooka across the compound. They'd be like, "Where you going with that, Tucker?" I said, "I'm going to take it over to G-Dorm, sir, and I'll be right back. I'll make sure nobody shoots each other with it." And they wouldn't even pay any attention. I mean, it was lack of security, but the officers got treated worse than the inmates did. I mean, they was watching killers. I mean, this place was pretty bad. But as for bartering and stuff with the cigarettes, I would come back to my dorm and everybody would be running for the bathrooms to drop the cigarettes out of their ass. And there would be 200 people in a 80-person dorm. All the other gangs coming in to buy cigarettes to hurry up and get the packs, with bags of canteen. And it was just almost scary because something that I said, guys with life sentences have nothing to lose. But then eventually, I caught one of the guys that was staying up all the time. He was always awake. He lived right across from me. And I was like, "Man, what the hell you got going on?" He's like, "Tuck, man, come on." He's like, "Hey," I need somebody to pick up an 8-ball fucking meth for me. He said, he's like, "What do you charge me?" I said, "I want half, that's going rate." He's like, "I can't do that." He's like, "How about I'll give you a gram of it." And he says, "If you run out, man, we'll have another drop before that." So that was right then. From that point on, I think I had about a year and a half left of my time, and I got that first package. He gave me one little itty bitty piece about the size of my pinky nail. I ate it, walked out of prison, freaking full-fledged addict again. I stopped. One day I stopped using. That was the day before I got out, because my mom was picking me up. I got some sleep that night because I was not going to walk out of there tweaked out, in front of my mom, who's waited 7 years for me to get out of prison. Traveled all over the state of Florida. Everywhere I went, she came to visit my dad, my son, my oldest, who they're taking care of. They stopped traveling the country to go take care of my house that is in my name, pay the mortgage payment, doing their dream and touring the country to take care of my now, and he's going on 20, my son's going on 20, take care of him while I watched my son grow up. I wish I had the pictures to show you. I probably can get them, but of the age of him growing up, and I used to tell him, I said, "Man, that guy over there, he's got 4 life sentences, and he'd be packing phones." I mean, these guys can pack a cell phone in their ass, man. I mean, it's unbelievable. I got released on 420. I was jumping the fence right by the prison to go make a drop of 20 cell phones. They paid me $30 a phone. They paid for the phones on a green dot or PayPal card. I go to Walmarts all up and down coast where I was at, buy up as many as I could get of the cheapest phones, and go drop them off. I got $30 a phone for each one. So, you do the math. That was a nice lick.
You said that when you got released, are you saying on that same day that you got released?
The day after.
You were going right back to the prison?
I went right back to prison, walked right by the warden's house and dropped off cell phones with camouflage on. For my,
Because the money was so good.
Come on, you get out, man. It was a few $1,000s, man. I at least bought me a car, got my license back. I mean, everything was right there because they give you $50 in Florida when you step out of prison and a bus ticket to anywhere you want to go. Nope, they don't give you anywhere you want to go. You have to actually have an address you're going to. So, that's pretty much what you're walking out of. So first.
How long did you do? How long did you continue to smuggle the contraband after you were released?
I've done it a few times. I did one just not too long ago before I came up this way. A buddy I hadn't talked to in a while contacted me on Facebook, and I was like, "I'm really not that close to you." And the offer was just, a few $100s. I mean, my car gets 35 miles to the gallon. I put $50 in gas, and turned around and made 300. So that was a go-to thing. Wasn't any risk because I was just picking up cigarettes and dropping them off underneath a garbage can, and in the middle of a city park where those guys came to pick up stuff. So he had their mules. I just dropped some, cops come pull me over. I'm dropping cartons of cigarettes in a garbage bag. no harm, no foul.
With what we're doing, I can't get off track, which is featuring your story. And I guess what I want to do is I want to chronicle what's going on with you over the course of the next month. Now, it's not going to be an everyday thing that we come and get with you, but maybe once or twice a week, if it's possible,
Yeah.
we meet up with you just to see what you got going on. Because where your story focuses the most at is you're a guy who's been released for how long now?
It was my 4/20/17, so we're looking at just a little over 2 years now. I mean, I might hit that 3-year mark.
You've been released for almost 3 years, or getting close to 2.5 years.
Been arrested 3 times since, though.
But you haven't gone back to prison,
No.
which is the crazy thing about this. And unfortunate, I hate the way that this is about to sound. I mean, you're basically a full-fledged addict.
Oh yeah, I mean, I haven't slept all night. I mean, I've been up all night.
Talk to us about, and I want this to be very gritty, okay? But just talk to us about, like, what that entails. Like you say, you haven't been to sleep all night. What have you been doing all night?
Yeah, that's funny. Well, we took off and went down to the beach. I mean, all the way down to the beach, pick up a sack of weed for my wife, and I mean, she don't really get high, but she came back last night after a big fight. So this right here is from my wife. She kicked me right in between my eyes. I mean, and not on purpose, but it was kind of the way it happened. But
can I jump in real quick?
Yeah.
I want to say something. I don't want you to take this the wrong way. Like, when I see that mark on your face, I think to myself, well, if you're doing the drugs, maybe that's from scratching.
oh God, no, I don't pick. I'm a firm believer, and I don't pick it at
I
yourself.
mean, you look like a very clean-cut individual. So
And it's funny because my wife always says, that's your hustle. She says, you don't have no tattoos all over you. People would have no idea. And I said, that's kind of a good thing. But, as my day entails, it's really, yesterday before you guys got here, I mean, candid, being gritty, man, I figured you guys had about 10 minutes, so I hurried up and made a foil. I don't have any tubes or anything like that people use to smoke meth out of. So I made a quick foil, a boat, man, and hit it a few times just to loosen up. I would have been fine without it, but, I was like, I don't know why it crossed my mind to, maybe I ought to hit this a few times before these guys come over here. It really, people would never even know. I mean, most of the time, like my wife says, you don't even ever act like you're, tweaked out or nothing. She says, you're always outspoken, but she sees me more than anybody, so she'll catch me in the middle of the night or something. And a lot of times she'll sleep, and I'll be up, online looking for work. That's really my biggest thing lately. It's been finding a place to live and some permanent work that I can go to, and we can just settle down somewhere. Because, like I said, we still have children that we're trying to get back in custody. I mean, if they gave me the option right now, man, we'll give your kids back right now, would you drop everything and dig ditches for the rest of your life? Absolutely. I mean, I wouldn't have an issue with that.
you bring up the kids, and that's something that I want to talk about. You have children between you and your wife. You've got children, and she has children. Is that the way that it is?
Yes, I have 2. One that was born right before I went on this last prison bid it was 5 years, 11 months. This is where I pulled on a 7-year bid in Florida. It's 85%. I had my son back 2000. Like I said, he's going on 20 years old now. And she had 3 prior to me, and she just gave birth on October 1st.
Of last year.
Of this year. Just
October
like, yeah,
1st?
that little girl right there just had baby a couple weeks, like about 3 weeks ago.
Really?
She's had 3 before that. Not a stretch mark on her, man. I'm talking bounces right back, man. I mean, unbelievable. Beautiful.
And let's talk about this child that she just had. It's because of the addiction that you guys felt, or tell me what
and it is. I mean, the lifestyle, we weren't in any place secure. We weren't in any place that was going to be, nurturing, really. I mean, we're struggling out here to just try to get a place. Everything's been, like I said, we had a house burned down. We've had all that, boo-hoo, but, it's happened. Went to ask for assistance, and it's funny, we just asked for assistance the other day to the Salvation Army. My wife called him. She says, I hate to do this, because she promised herself she wouldn't beg from anybody. She said, we'll go out and get it ourselves, however we're going to do it, She said, well, I'm not asking any churches or anything. The Salvation Army called today and told her that they do not offer any help with winter clothes. What else was it? They don't, and basically pretty much told us. And then the lady, my wife left a long detailed message twice to the lady, and the lady had no idea who she was even talking to or what she was asking about. And we were looking just for some references, in case it gets really cold, can we go grab a winter coat somewhere without dropping the rest of the money we have in our pocket, And like I said, we're fighting for 3 other children. I have some contact with my daughter, my 8-year-old daughter. Her name's Haley. And my son lives with my mother and father, getting ready to go to fire school and all that, become a firefighter. I can call him anytime. He's working all the time now, though. But her kids, they said one day we both got arrested. They ended up going to an uncle's house, so they ended up getting some custody of her. She still has custodial, which opens the door for when we get a place, we can open up the case and go ahead and get the kids back. But when she was pregnant, we're looking at each other and saying, if we have this baby, we didn't want to abort it, which we're not against that by any means. It's the woman's right choice to do whatever she wants to do. It's, how
was she using during the pregnancy?
She was, actually. She was quite a bit at first before she found out.
And what was she using?
Meth, marijuana. It was marijuana all the way to the door. But you know what, man? I thank God for medical marijuana, even though she doesn't have her medical card. That stuff right there, it saved my life because, like I said, she has split personality disorder, and it's more like ×2. She's got a few different ones documented. And it was just, we weren't prepared really to be able to have a child and then be able to look at it down the road and say, I'm sorry we couldn't offer you that one thing, And the people that that adopted our baby, which was Sunflower Bliss, we named her, and they just had accomplished everything in the world, man, that they ever wanted. And the one thing, she couldn't have a child. And it was because of cancer she had when she was a young child, and that was what was like, they were missing that link. Well, the best thing was these people became like our best friends. I mean, we went out to lunch with them. They were at the birth, did the thing. But like I said, at the ultimate thing was, and it was hard for her to give up the baby. And she still cries once in a while about it, but you know what? We know we did the right thing. This baby now has an opportunity. He has all the resources to do anything it wants to when it grows up. A lot of things could happen with us, I mean, she's still got court case going on, even though they're gonna drop it, but hey, you never know. I go out here one day and something happens with me, sales charges, they can pick them up, and where we're at, man, in 2 years, it's 2 or 3 years. So they can hold on to actual footage of you selling something and use it 3 years later. There's a statute of it. So they can pick you up whenever. They're really just trying to stack them up on you so they got a good case. So something there. And have I sold drugs since I've been out of prison? Absolutely. So one of those times could have been my demise, and I catch another case. You just never know. And that was what our worry was. Her family has issues. We didn't want to bring it into this. I mean, like I said, it looks like an okay hotel room. Well, y'all, this is bottom of the barrel, man. It's the cheapest place in town.
Do you think that the baby had any issues, or was the baby okay?
The baby was, God, I have pictures. She was absolutely awesome. I mean, perfect. I mean, she came out 5 pounds. She was a little bit early, but, other than just the initial, and she was clean when she had the baby. I mean, the baby, other than just marijuana, I mean, that was the only thing that was in it. And the baby was absolutely perfect health. I mean, came out crying. It was a real selfless experience. It was probably the kindest thing I've ever seen in my life. I said it wasn't my decision. Did I have some say in it, and she could consider what I have to say? Yes, but ultimately it was my wife's because she gave birth. And man,
were you still using during the time that she had stopped?
Oh man, oh yeah. She's never ever questioned my use. She's like, I'm way older than she is. She says, you have an addiction older than I am. How could I even ask you? You're functionable. You've done many, you've always worked. Everybody still loves you. You talk about all the friends you have that you've known for 30 years, So she knew my face was good in town. I didn't do anything wrong to anybody. I mean, these people were happy to see me when I came back in town. They were always already asking me for a package. I've been gone 5 years, 11 months. Actually, from Port Charlotte, where I was at, I had been gone 3 years prior to that. So we were looking at dang near 9 years I was gone for out of town. I came back and, I mean, basically had the package dropped in my lap if I wanted it.
You know, forgive me for sticking on the baby topic, but it is
Yeah.
a big part of what you guys have just recently gone through. And forgive the questioning that I'm going to ask because, you know, I am going to dig on this. And
Yeah, go ahead.
I truly feel like this is something that people could wonder. But when you guys considered the adoption, you know, and then you found somebody who was, you know, wanting to be who adopted the child. I mean, obviously you've spoken about the fact that, you know, they've helped you guys out financially. Was it financially beneficial? And did that play a part into the determining factor of you guys to put the baby up for adoption?
You know, the funny thing about it, we could have got so much more if we wanted. We really refrained from asking for any help. We would, like I said, I'd go work 2 jobs, side jobs, whatever I could before I ever asked them for a nickel. You know, did we? I think the total about came, I mean, round about maybe 6,000 total in help over the 9-month period, which is quite a bit. You know, you'd think, but. You know, I mean, when we're living from hotels, Airbnbs because of a house burning down and stuff, it was really I mean, it helped, but it wasn't near as much as, you know, some people, I've known people that have babies, that's what they do. I mean, they actually freaking have babies and they put them up for adoption. They live that way. It's crazy.
Selling the babies.
Pretty much, man. I mean, you know, it kind of sickens me to think so. But that wasn't really, if they wouldn't have gave us a penny, it would have still been the right decision. That's what our mindset was at. And she was pregnant before this one. We lost the baby due to the house fire, the smoke inhalation. She was the only one when I'm dragging her out the window of our house burning, my wife. And, you know, our 2 littlest ones were out in the stroller in the front yard watching our house burn down, and our dog's in there freaking dying. It was terrible. But she got smoke inhalation and stillborn a few days later. So we lost our house and the baby and everything we owned in like a matter of a couple of days, man. It was pretty horrific. But
did the house fire come from usage?
No, it actually came down from an overloaded line. One of the main lines were connected. Her stepdad put a jacuzzi to the air handler wire, 1970s wires, man. When they both kicked on at the same time, rats and whatever eating through the casing of the wire, boom, ignited the house, man. I mean, right through the air conditioning system, man, and just, you know. But you know, we were going to put that baby up for adoption. We had already spoken with him, and you know, it wasn't that we weren't trying to. But my wife's on birth control right now, man. And I wish she wasn't, because she is, whoa, crazy. I mean, some of the hormones that she just got off having the baby, now with the extra hormones from the birth control, man, has really got her in completely like crazy in the head, man. I mean, I feel bad for her. I mean, really do, because like I said, just the mental capacity you have to take. I mean, especially what she grew up. I mean, like I said, I'm not trying to even say anything. Baby, if you ever see this, man, I love you. But like I said, the baby is tough. I mean, I got pictures if you ever want to see him. I mean, she was adorable. Sunflower Bliss is our little hippie baby.